Hello, everybody. In this episode, I am going to be saying the truth that is in my heart that I fear people would judge me on, that I fear people will say that I'm an idiot, that I am stupid. But I want to lay it all on the line here today, and I want to talk about it. Because if I can't speak truthfully about what's in my heart, I'm not going to be able to lead in the new world. And that is exactly what I'm going to be doing. And so the thing that scares us the most is the thing that we need to articulate. It's the thing we need to get out there. It's the thing that we need to share. And so that's what I'm going to do in this episode of Live in Truth. And so I created this series, Live in Truth, because I've realized that for me, that is my jam. There is nothing more important to me than having the courage to speak what we believe to be true, irrespective of what others may think of us as a result of that. And so in this series, in the first episode, I talked about, well, what is truth? What does that mean? In the second episode, I talked about the 4 stages of truth according to my experience, starting from the illusion of living in separation and believing that to be true, all the way until embodying truth and everything in between that. And then my plan was to talk about the 8 truths that I have written about in my new book, Effortless, which is going to be published soon. And I already talked about 1 truth in this video series. But what I have decided to do today is speak about the truth that I find it hardest to speak about. And so the way that I'm going to do it with this series, what I have decided is that what's feeling alive in me at the moment. And that's what I'm going to share. It's not what I've planned. It's not what I've organized. It's not what I've structured. But what is the truth that is bubbling inside me that needs to come out into the surface? And for those who resonate, they will resonate. For those who don't, it's okay. You don't have to resonate. You don't have to believe anything I say. But if I am triggering you in some way with the things that I say, it means that you are in some way doubting your own belief systems, and maybe allow yourself to be open to other ways of thinking. So as an example, if someone said to me, Eleni, your skin is blue, I'm not going to be triggered because I know my skin's not blue. It's not going to trigger me. It's not going to be, oh, it is not blue. It is a very nice tan. It is white. It is whatever. I'm not going to say that because I know that my skin's not blue, but it's okay if you see me as blue. That's okay. And so when I speak these beliefs that I have, if you don't resonate with them, that's fine. If you get triggered by them, it means there's something inside you that needs to be examined. And if you resonate, join me and listen to what else I have to share in this journey, because it means that where you are at is where I am at on the journey, and that we are aligned. And so here goes. I'm going to talk about the thing that I have found the scariest in terms of sharing with people. And I have shared a lot with people. I have been really transparent. I have created a series called The Shame Game, where I shared my biggest shame that I've ever experienced in my life. That was really deeply personal, and I felt shame for decades over this one incident, and I shared that publicly. And there is a lot that I have shared about my relationships, about how I navigate pain, how I navigate sadness, how I've navigated depression and grief. These are all things that I have shared with the world. And so now I'm going to tell you what the latest thing is in terms of what I have only been sharing with select groups and have not been really sharing publicly. So even though I have this video series called Galactic Guidance, it's a podcast series that I share on all the channels, including YouTube, I haven't promoted it because I have thought, well, what are people going to think, particularly my family, because I come from a very religious family, and these beliefs that I am going to be talking about will go against that, even though I don't believe it's against that. So I am a believer and of Jesus Christ and of God and of all the archangels, and I have experienced and felt them, and so I do not believe that my religion contradicts these beliefs that I hold about high dimensional beings living in different realms and on different planets. But I know they would. And so that's why I have not shared or promoted my Galactic Guidance channeling podcast. So going right back to what this podcast is I interview people who channel. I only interview people who channel. So they might be channeling angels, they might be channeling gods, they might be channeling all sorts of entities. But the one that I speak to the most, in fact, every single week for years, is I have a discussion with an extraterrestrial. So I have a discussion with a higher dimensional being living on another planet. So this being is not non-physical, this being is physical. She's a female energy, her name is Ameed, and she lives on an advanced planet on the Lyra star system, in the Lyra star system. She's been channeled by Marcus Bird, who has been channeling her for over 30 years. So this is something that's not new, but it's something that he's kept private. I helped Marcus go public, and I have helped 3 other channels go public because I feel that these are gifts that these people have and they need to be shared. And so I have the absolute honor of every single week interviewing Ameed, who is from another planet. And I can feel the energy, I can feel her presence the moment she comes online. And she's a very different energy to Marcus. So Marcus he's an accountant, and that's by trade. And he lived a very square life, a very conservative life, until he had a massive accident, a skiing accident. He used to be a champion skier. And he also got chronic fatigue syndrome, and he wasn't able to do anything except meditate. And so his whole story is explained in the first session of Galactic Guidance, where he talks about how Ameed came into his world and how he didn't believe. He thought he was going crazy. He thought he was having a psychosis. And then physical things kept appearing in his world at a rapid rate, which helped him believe that he was channeling Ameed. In fact, he's written entire courses that have been held up by the government training institutions because of his the incredible magic that he's channeling. So he's channeled ancient Egyptian texts, which are very, very, very detailed. And we have this beautiful discussion every single week. And I love speaking to Ameed. She comes in and she says things to me that Marcus doesn't know. So there's many things I don't tell Marcus. So I might be going through a hard time. I might be going through some personal difficulties. And Ameed will always come in and know exactly what's going on in my life. She calls me Miss Eleni. And she says, Miss Eleni, this week you haven't been still. You've been too busy. So she sees everything that I'm doing, and she knows any choices that I make. She brings them up. She talks to me. She's brought in my father, and told me what my father's up to in the spirit realm. And every single discussion that we have, what actually happens is there's different types of channeling. We all have the ability to channel. So let me just start with that. Every single person has the ability to channel. So in fact, we're channeling all the time without realizing it. So when you get this idea, it just pops into your brain and you think, oh wow. And sometimes you act on it and sometimes you don't. Where do you think that idea comes from? In fact, our ego, our brain, is not able to create new ideas because our ego is only able to construct mental constructs based on past experience. So, for example, try asking your brain or your ego to invent a new color. It just won't be able to because it hasn't got the capacity to think in that kind of out-of-the-box way. However, when new ideas come, new songs, new art pieces, new creative, original ideas, where do you think they come from? They come from our spirit team. They come from our spirit mentors and musicians and artists. They know that they channel because something just comes through them and they just start writing furiously. They can feel the energy of it. And same with you. It's just that in this distracted world, we are so distracted with scrolling on our phone. We are so distracted with dramas. We are so distracted with what's playing out on the world stage in terms of politics and everything else that we don't stop to be silent, to listen to what is being given to us by the spirit realm. And in fact, whispers are given to us all the time. But like anything, if we are not listening to those whispers and we're ignoring them, they're going to stop communicating. But the moment that our spirit team, and we all have a spirit team, every single human being on this earth has a spirit team. Every single human being on this earth has their own guardian angel. You are never, ever, ever, ever alone. You are always protected. I want you to think about a time when you can't explain away, or you've said, oh, that's a coincidence. I would 100% guarantee that you have got that time, that you can remember a time which cannot be explained in logical ways, that something magical or miraculous has occurred and you've called it a coincidence. And a coincidence is just two incidences coming together. And those two incidences are part of the master plan that's already been created for us, that we are a part of, that our higher self has actually contributed to and been a co-creator to. And so all of that, there's so much. And, take what you want from this and leave the rest behind. Whatever resonates, take and leave the rest behind. And so we all have this capacity to channel, and it's about how aware we are of this capacity. But there are certain souls that have been reincarnated onto this earth that actually have a pure gift of channeling. And that means that they're not just listening to ideas, but they actually feel and can discern various energies clearly. They can discern, oh, that's an angel. They can discern this is, this is an archangel. This is, their grandfather. This is Elvis Presley. They can discern the different energies. And if you're in this world, you know that there are thousands of people on the planet that have this ability to do that. And many of them, and all the stories that I've heard, and the ones that I personally know, they don't want to go public with it. They feel embarrassed because we are so deeply programmed to believe that the unseen is not to be recognized. It's only what we can clearly see. So they don't want to go public, but their gift is so strong and so powerful that many of them do bring it out to the public, and others shut it down. And Marcus, who has been channeling Ameed for 30 years, did shut it down to begin with, didn't want to know about it, didn't want others to think that he was a crazy person, because he is the type of channel that gets out of the way. So there are some channels that they still speak in their voice, even though they are channeling another energy. Whereas Marcus gets completely out of the way. So it's almost like you're watching a movie and a completely different entity uses his voice box to speak. And it sounds very, very different to his normal language. And you might think, well, how do you know this is true? Well, every single channel that I resonate with, I can feel the energy. Just like when you can walk into a room and you can feel when someone's just had an argument, you can feel that intense energy. What actually happens when someone is absolutely channeling is I feel this love just move through my body. So it's this powerful energy of love. And I know that it's true because I feel it. And I have seen other channels who are online who I don't feel anything with. And so my subconscious mind does not necessarily believe that they are channeling. And so you've got to use discernment and trust your body. Your body gives you all the signals. When you get those goosebumps on you, you know you're listening to truth. And that's how I know instantly. For me, it's very obvious when I'm listening to truth. I've become so clearly attuned to observing myself that when someone speaks to me, I feel authenticity immediately. And that's what I want to do for others. I want people to, when they're listening to me, to know that there's no BS, there's no bullshit, there's no delusion, that, they resonate with my truth. And if they're not resonating with my truth, it just means that we're not aligned at this point in time, that my frequency and your frequency are not a match. And that's okay too. Like, it's all okay. All of it is okay. And so for years now, I have been speaking to Ameed, channeled by Marcus Bird. First of all, we did it on YouTube, and then we started a channeling podcast, which I started, called Galactic Guidance Channeling Podcast. And interestingly, I haven't gone public with it in the sense that, yes, it's on YouTube, yes, it's on iHeart Radio, yes, it's on Apple and all the rest of it. But I haven't actually sat there and made it public in terms of the mainstream social media platforms. I haven't promoted it. And when I've thought about why haven't I promoted it, it's because I have held this fear that my family particularly will think that I'm some sort of lost person. I know they'll still love me because I know they love me unconditionally. They've proven that in the past. And I love them unconditionally. But the fear is all about them thinking that I've strayed from God. But in fact, I've come closer to God than ever before. So I'm able to feel the presence of God everywhere. Like, I look in the sky and I can feel the presence of God. I listen to the bird song and I can feel the presence of God. I look into the eyes of someone who is authentic and embodied in their truth, and I can feel God within them. I can feel God within me. I can feel God everywhere. And, I do have a deep, deep love for Jesus and Mother Mary and all the sages over the years that have courageously moved forward beyond fear to speak their truth. And so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to speak my truth. And so this is a coming out in a different way by speaking about this ET that I speak to every week. I'll leave the link below in terms of our channeling podcast. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day whether you think that I'm speaking to an ET or not. It doesn't matter whether you think I'm speaking to someone who's living on another planet as they are. Just take the message, because the message is always beautiful. There's no fear in the message. If any person is spewing out fear, that is not from the higher realms. That is from this realm, because there's a lot of fear in this realm. There's a lot of fear on this planet. There's a lot of things that we're afraid of. But on the other side of fear is pure love. And we need to help each other walk back home to the truth of who we are, and to feel the truth of who we are, and not be afraid to say it, not be afraid to speak it, not be afraid to share it. You know, we've got so many programs on our planet that have been these programs from thousands of years, where we are programmed to believe from society, from our schools, from our churches, from our family, from work, that we have to live a certain way and then we die. And there's so much more to it than that. We are here to remember who we are. We are here to remember the truth of who we are. And it's very, 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 very difficult to speak truth when we're living in a culture of cancel culture. You know, in the old days, they used to burn the witches on the stakes that used to speak the truth. They used to call them witches. And these days, they cancel people. They bully people online. You don't have to look far to see all the people that have been bullied, whether you believe their story or not. Currently, a current example that on the world stage is Meghan Sussex, married to Prince Harry, otherwise known as Meghan Markle. The bullying that is happening towards her across the planet is phenomenal. And people want to hate. People enjoy hating because it makes them feel better. And this human, she's just trying to live her life the way she is. You know, but we attack her, we blame her, we condemn her. And so this is not about putting anybody on pedestals or condemning them. It's just about allowing people to be them, allowing people to hold whatever truths are available to them. So I went to a dinner recently, and there was a bit of just the way some of the words were spoken. You know, they were said in a joking vibe, but there was a bit of racism. And it honestly didn't bother me. Not because... whereas something like that would have bothered me years ago. It would really affect me and I would have spoken up and there would have been conflict. But I'm just holding that person as not knowing any better. As that's where her level of consciousness is. And it's okay. Like, I just had a deep love for her. It's okay for her to have those belief systems. It's okay for her to believe that one race is superior to another. It is. It's okay. Doesn't mean that I need to fight her on it. It doesn't mean anything. All I've got to do is hold my own energy and my own belief systems. And this video will either resonate with you or it won't. And either is okay. But I will be turning up to my series Living Truth on a regular basis. I did initially say that it was going to be weekly, but I have found that I'm not holding the energy for it to be weekly at this stage. I'm moving towards it. That's the honest truth. That I don't feel that I'm capable of, up to this point anyway, it may change in the future, but up to this point, I've tried to turn up weekly and I haven't been able to, because this is a specific type of energy that I have to hold. It's an energy of truth. It's not an energy of performance. It's an energy of truth. So in the past, I would turn up no matter what when I said I was going to turn up, because I could easily perform. That's easy for me to go, hi, this is Eleni, da 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 da. I can easily put on that persona. But this Living Truth series is not about a persona. It's not about, here we are, because too many people are doing that already. And it becomes exhausting. It's about turning up heart to heart, from my heart to your heart. And I honestly don't feel like this every week. I honestly don't feel so centered every week. And it has to be when I do. So I imagine that the more that I do this, the more I will turn up. in a way that's centered, in a way that's authentic, in the way that comes from the heart. I would really appreciate it if you get this algorithm going, because it's bloody hard in this world of noise to get the truth out. To like, to subscribe, to share. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm sending you so much love, and please remember to live in truth. Live in truth. Live in truth. Live in truth. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Just live in truth.